Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm going to try something a bit different today. I'm actually going to be making a video that nobody asked for, but I just thought I would make, about Mario music, and we're going to see if this one gets copyrighted, and by Mario, I mean Super Mario music, the music that plays in the Super Mario games, not music by Mario, the R&B singer. Okay, so, we'll see if this gets copyrighted, because I am going to play more than like 20-second clips or whatever, but to be fair, I've played the games themselves and haven't gotten copyrighted for gameplay footage, so I don't think the music will be too bad of a problem here. So without further ado, we're just going to see. This is actually going to be Battle of the Bowser Roads, because Bowser's Road is one of my favorite soundtrack pieces from a Super Mario game, and this was originated from Super Mario 64, so this is the original version of the song. So we've got a nice roughly 20-second build up there, and then it goes into the main track. And this is one of my problems with some of the Mario 64 like weird ambient sound kind of weird thing that they were doing with the 64 soundtrack. They're like, like you can see this example really like in the Lethal Lava Land stage, and especially in the Boo's theme. Honestly, that's something that just kind of always bothered me about Mario 64's music. But I do think it works pretty well here, and this is a pretty atmospheric track. To notice. One, I oftentimes noticed that Mario 64 was trying to be almost too atmospheric of music. Of course, the main overworld themes are fantastic, but when they try to get more atmospheric of the level design outside of things like Dire Docks, and I really enjoy the Hazy Maze Cave theme as well, but the rest of it just feels very weird and like trying to be too atmospheric, but it really does work here. So that is the main part, and you've got the little fake like kind of oriental like the do 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 do, and then that little thing in the background there, and then it goes on to loop. This is where it loops. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so notice the first thing that it goes out of it like do 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 do, and then it goes back to like the opening like the do 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 do, that whole 8 count right there. So that is something worth noting. And then they did it again on the DS. This is pretty much an exact rip, except it's not as good. As far as I can tell, this is an exact rip, but it's slightly more compressed. Which is the problem with most of Mario 64 DS's music. As far as I can tell, this is an exact rip from the N64. And again, we've got that 8 count there looping. So yeah, as far as I can tell, this is an exact rip, except it's just less good. Intermission time! Now we get to talk about Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games. Yay! this happened? That was 2012, this was 2016, or 2014. I haven't personally played these games, so honestly what I'm just going to say here is that they're all pretty much the same, and the remixes are interesting to say the least, but we're going to stick to the core series. So then, something interesting happened. They decided to remake Bowser's Road for Super Mario Galaxy, which is probably my favorite game of all time, and my favorite game soundtrack of all time. So even from early on, we've got like a much richer synth-MIDI mix here going on. This is obviously an upgrade from the 64 to the Wii. The drums are much more fleshed out there. This is the 8 count at the beginning. Giving it the distinct Wii MIDI sound there, but also adding in some really nice atmosphere, and it feels like the Galaxy soundtrack. Adding that light little thing in there just makes it feel so Galaxy. It's hard to explain. I can almost hear the star bits. Again, what I will say is, while it feels like there's a lot more going on in the mix, this really is a basic upgrade to the Wii. There's not a lot that's different about this one. Right down to that. So that is the full mix. But in my opinion, I think it sounds a lot better than the N64 one because of the technology being better. Now, the other thing I will say about this is that, remember that 8 count from earlier? That do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, which is still at the beginning of the track in this one as well. Kind of similar, but that part looped in Super Mario 64 after the part we just listened to. Here's what Mario Galaxy does instead. So, Mario Galaxy, as opposed to Mario 64, which did this. Alright, so Mario 64 did that last part and looped the 8 count, whereas Galaxy... goes straight back into the main melody. The Galaxy just goes straight back into that, getting rid of that 8 count drum preamble, which I actually think is a nice touch. Now, this is where things start to get interesting, because then they made Galaxy 2 and they said, screw that upgrading the bullshit, because it was the Wii, there wasn't much else they could do with it. And instead of reusing the theme from Galaxy 1, they decided to remix it again, which is not a terrible idea, because reusing the music would have been lazy. So this is what they did for Galaxy 2. Let's go back. So right after that, you've got those full-on horns. And I could be mistaken, but I think that might be cut short a bit. That and I'm noticing like that kind of ambient noise is kind of brought back with a little bit of a choir vibe to it, and the rest of the song is pushed to the front. I think this is much better mixed than the 64. I also think the Galaxy 1 is much better mixed than the 64. The 64 mixing just puts too much emphasis on that. We're trying so hard to make this atmospheric vibe that Mario 64's music gave off. first major instrument change noting. Instead, we have horns here instead of just that. They're kind of, we're trying to be ambient and edgy music. Instead, we have horns. And it sounds fantastic, in my opinion. And there's the 70-piece Mario Galaxy Orchestra, or whatever. All jokes aside, right there is where this track shines. The Mario Galaxy Orchestra really pulled through with the entire soundtrack to Galaxy 1 and 2. But, yeah, that right there is, in my opinion, what the N64 should have sounded. But then this happens. All jokes aside, the opera singers here, I'm mixed on, honestly. Moving on. So going back, I love that little orchestra bit, that I love that so much. And the other thing worth noting here is that the opera singers, when I first listened to it, I kind of hated it. It's kind of grown on me. I think it works well for the Bowser stages and Galaxy 2. But yeah, going back a few seconds here, we got that building. I think it works. And the horns here just really pull through. So it's mixed in a way that's not obnoxious. And again, we have Valoo. Goes right back without the preamble. Alright, so in the end, we really have 3 Bowser Roads we're working with here. We're not really concerned with the Mario 64 DS one, but we're concerned with the original, the Mario Galaxy version, and the Mario Galaxy 2 version. So listening to the original version again, there's nostalgic charm to be had for sure. Now, the weird thing is I actually played Galaxy, and then Galaxy 2, and then 64. I actually played the games in that order, because those are the games I had. So actually, Galaxy is the first version of this song I heard. When I heard it in Galaxy 2, I wasn't a fan, but they actually made it decent. They're trying to give off such a vibe here. This is badly mixed. Now, I'm not sure if it's the N64 sound chip, or that they were still figuring out the N64 sound chip, or that just in general, they just didn't know what they were doing with the soundtrack to this game. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but anyway, I just feel like that, like, boom, 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 boom. It's like trying to carry the main melody, but it's way too, like, it's just way too fake atmospheric for its own good, and that's pushing forward in front of the drums, which, well, it should be because it's the main melody, but there's nothing to back it up, and it just kind of doesn't work for me. And it can sound rather chenny as well, but I'm going to chalk that up to the N64 sound chip and not anything on the devs' behalf. Now going into the Galaxy 1 version again. In my opinion, yes, you still have that, like, synth line that carries the main melody, but it sounds much better and much crisper in this version, obviously. I also think adding that distinct Galaxy touch, it feels a little bit shimmery and shiny, more so than the original version, and I appreciate it. But that's not to say there isn't charm of the original version. The original version has a lot going for it, and then there's Galaxy 2. Yeah, honestly, I love the mix in Galaxy 1. I think it's a fantastic rendition of the older track, but honestly, I think I've got to give it to Galaxy 2 as the winner. The opera singers can be a bit of a mixed bag, but the way it's all mixed forward and the way the Mario Galaxy Orchestra pulls through on this song, just amazing. So yeah, Super Mario Galaxy 2 has the best Bowser's Road in my opinion. Change my mind in the comments down below. If you like this video for whatever reason, click like and subscribe to my channel. Bye!